Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We want to welcome you to this workshop. Miss S has a really great workshop today, all about healthy eating on budget, and just going to have a cooking demo. Healthy eating is really important. It's something that we should be focusing on, especially during these times. So sit back. I hope you guys make this chili recipe later, and I will pass it along to Miss S.
Okay, so hi everyone. Today we are. So I'm going to ask everyone to put themselves on mute. So if you look for the microphone at the bottom of your screen, if you click on it, it should turn red, and that way everyone can hear me nicely and clearly. And yeah, we can get started. So today we are making chili. So I am making a vegetarian chili. The recipe that we provided you, you can add meat to it, but I wanted to make it vegetarian. And it's filled with tons and tons of nutrients, which is awesome. Because if you look behind me, you see our My Plate. And this is what we use a lot in FAN4Kids. This is what we this is what we base our lessons off of. We learn about the 5 food groups. So we have the dairy food group, the protein food group, the vegetables, the fruits, and the grains. So this recipe actually uses all 5 of the foods in the food group. So if we start with the protein group, because we are making a vegetarian chili, the main source of protein would be a plant-based protein, because if you remember when we learned about our 2 types of proteins, we have animal-based proteins and plant-based proteins. So because this is a vegetarian chili, we are using beans. Beans are pretty cool because they actually fall into 2 of our food groups. So they are actually protein and they're vegetables as well. So I have a can of beans with me right here, and if you actually turn to the back of it and look really closely, you can see that both the vegetable and the protein portion of the My Plate is highlighted, because beans are pretty unique in that sense that they fall into both food groups. So we are definitely covered by our protein because there is tons of beans in this recipe. We know we're covered by our vegetables because beans are vegetables, and then we also have things like onions and garlic, and you could also throw in any type of vegetable you want in this recipe. So if you wanted to add peppers or maybe some sort of zucchini or squash, you could pretty much throw any type of vegetable into this chili to make it a little bit more interesting. I've kept this recipe pretty simple, but if you want to spice it up with anything, you're more than welcome. Pretty much all vegetables are welcome to all the meals that you're going to be making. So we have our protein and our vegetables covered. Now, when we get down to fruit, normally when we think about fruit, we think of things like apples or watermelon, because the fruits are all things with seeds. So because that is the definition of what a fruit is, the tomatoes in this recipe actually cover the fruit section. So although we may not think that tomatoes would be a fruit, they might be a vegetable, scientifically we know that tomatoes are a fruit because there's lots of seeds inside. So we have our protein, vegetables, and fruits covered. And then when we get down to our dairy group, so when we think of dairy, we normally think of milk. So there's no milk actually in this recipe, but what's awesome about chili is we can top it with lots of toppings. So we're not adding milk to the top of this chili, but you could add things like shredded cheese. So if you were to add, let's say, low-fat mozzarella cheese or cheddar cheese to this, you get that nice, if you add shredded cheese to the top of your hot bowl of chili, your cheese will start to nicely melt into your chili and it will be nice and tasty. You'll get that nice texture and you'll add some dairy to your nice dinner or lunch dish, whatever you're going to have your chili for. And lastly, we have grains. So when I make chili, I like to add some grains to my dish. So you can either have a bowl of rice. I like to make cilantro lime rice, which is really easy. You just make regular rice and at the end you add some lime zest and cilantro to it. Or you could use tortilla chips. So with tortilla chips, you could actually scoop into your chili and eat it more like a snack. And if you have rice, you can kind of mix everything together. It's really good. So what's also super cool about this recipe is you pretty much have all the ingredients that are around your house. They're already laying there. They're things that you would normally find in your cabinet. So it's not something that you really have to go out and buy a lot of things for. And if you do, they're super cheap ingredients and they're easy to find in your local supermarket or a corner store. So that's also great. And it's also affordable. And I used a website called Budget Bites. It's awesome. It gives you all different types of creative, cool recipes you can use. Either if you don't have an idea of what to make to dinner, if you're in a pinch, if you have time crunch, you can find super cool recipes and give you fun ideas how to make them more creative and how to get everyone involved. So now that we know that this chili recipe goes over all 5 of the food groups, we can get started and we can find out what actually goes into this chili recipe. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share my screen so we can see how I made this chili. Give me 1 second. Okay, can everyone see the recipe? 1 second. Okay, so here we are. I have my video showing, and these are our main ingredients that go into our chili. So you have a bunch of spices in the back. So the first thing you may see is brown sugar. So that might sound like a strange ingredient to add into chili, but actually whenever you have a recipe that has a lot of tomatoes, if you look at the other ingredients, you see tomato paste and diced tomatoes. Tomatoes have a lot of acid in them. So that means they might kind of hurt your tummy if you just ate a lot of foods that have acid in them. So things like lemons and tomatoes or soy sauce. If you just ate those alone, they might hurt your tummy a little bit. So you need to balance your meal. You have to add some ingredients that are gonna make those flavors come up. So sugar helps do that. So we add a little bit of dark brown sugar. You don't want a lot because you don't really want your chili to be sweet. So you have chili, then we have cayenne pepper. You can also use chili flakes. Any type of hot seasoning, so it's going to give your chili a lot of flavor. Then we have garlic powder, we have onion powder, and we have cumin. And you can also add any other flavors you wanted into this chili. So you could add things like paprika or thyme or anything that you have around, whatever flavor combination you really want. So those are going to be your seasoning. Then we have a bowl of diced onions and some diced garlic. And then we have our major types of protein. So we have black beans, we have chickpeas, we have kidney beans, our tomato paste, and our diced tomatoes. So I'm gonna go ahead and play our video for you. So these are our ingredients. You're gonna dice up your onions and your garlic and you're gonna get started. Have all your ingredients ready, and then you're gonna take a big pot and you are going to put it on medium-low heat. You don't wanna have your heat super, super high because it's going to burn your ingredients right off the bat. You want to let your flavors develop and make sure that everything is nice and flavorful. So you're gonna get a big pot and then you're going to grab yourself some olive oil. So you're gonna use 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can use canola oil as well, or any type of oil you have around, but I like to use olive oil when I'm cooking. So you're going to go ahead and measure out 2 tablespoons of olive oil and go ahead and put that into your pot that is on medium-low heat. Once you have done that and you know that your pot is ready, you are going to go ahead and you are going to grab your onions. Now, before you add your onions to your pot, you want to make sure that your oil is not nice and hot. So in order to test that, you can look at the oil in your pot, and if it's nice and runny, it moves around the pan very easily, that's how you know it's ready. And then once you add in your onions, it should make a nice sizzling sound. So you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna take your chopped onions and you're gonna dump them into your pot. You can hear that sizzle, that's how you know it's nice and hot. And you want to cook your onions and you're gonna add your garlic as well. You wanna cook them until they are translucent. Now the word translucent means that your onions are gonna turn clear. They're gonna become nice and clear, and you wanna make sure that you are stirring around your onions and garlic so they don't burn. Again, that's another reason why we put our flame on medium-low so it does not burn anything. There you go, you can see my onion and garlic is starting to cook. You wanna give it a nice little mix. And then I like to add my seasonings at this point. I find that when you add your seasoning to your onion and garlic, it develops the flavor faster while you're making this. So I put all my seasonings into one bowl, mixed it up, and then dumped that straight into the pot. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mix it up again because you don't want these seasonings to stick to the pot and burn. And at this point, you should really be able to start smelling those flavors. You should smell your onion and garlic, you should smell your cumin, some of that chili powder, and then you're gonna go ahead and you're going to add your beans. Now again, it's important to have all your ingredients in front of you, so when you start cooking, you don't let anything burn. So you're gonna go ahead, you're gonna take your black beans, you're gonna drain them. I have my colander right there. And then you're going to dump your black beans into your other mixture. You're gonna go ahead and do the same thing with your chickpeas, and then again with your kidney beans. And you don't have to wait very long between adding those ingredients, but you wanna make sure you stir them all up so they're not sticking to the bottom of the pan. And then you can go ahead and add your diced tomatoes. So you're just gonna pour the whole can of diced tomatoes, you don't have to strain them, right into your pot of chili, and then you're gonna add your tomato paste. Now, tomato paste can be it's very thick. It will get stuck in the jar, so you really gotta scrape it out. But that's gonna give your chili a nice consistency. It's gonna be nice and thick. So once you add your tomato paste, you wanna mix it all around, and then you're going to add your water so it doesn't actually stick to the bottom of your pan. You wanna have a good consistency, so you don't want it to be too runny, you don't want it to be like soup, but you don't want it to be too thick either. And that is pretty much just about it. There's not a lot of ingredients, but you really are going to focus on your seasoning. A lot of recipes sometimes say just a teaspoon or a fourth of a teaspoon. That's like a very small amount. That's almost like a pinch. It's like a very tiny amount of seasoning. But the cool thing about seasonings is seasoning doesn't really have calories. That means that it's not going to make a dish bad for you. It's going to keep it nice and healthy. So you can spice up any type of dish or your chili with a lot of seasonings, and the more seasoning you add, the more flavorful it's going to be. And the best thing about this chili is you can put it on the pot, like let's say at 5 o'clock, and then you can just leave it there. And the longer it cooks, the more flavors are going to develop and the better it's going to be. So it's awesome when you're in a rush or you have to help your kids with homework or you have to do things around the house. You can just keep it on your stovetop on low until dinner is being ready to serve. And then you're all ready. You just have to serve it up and your entire family can eat. And then the best thing about chili is you get to add those awesome toppings. So once you are done making your chili and you're getting ready to serve it, you can think of all these creative toppings to add to your chili. So I like to add, we talked about our dairy group, so I like to add my cheese. You can also add things like fresh jalapenos. You could add additional seasonings. What else do I like to add? You could add sour cream, you could add guacamole. So guacamole is also an interesting food because when not guacamole, avocados, I should say. When you cut open an avocado, it has a big pit in the middle. So an avocado is actually considered a fruit as well, although some people may think it's a vegetable. So you can add all these different toppings to add those flavors together, but chili is an awesome recipe because it's filled with nutrients and it helps you get all of the foods from the My Plate. So that is just about the end of my video. You can see what my chili looks like. I hope you take the time to make that at home. And that is pretty much the gist of how you make chili. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If anyone has any questions about the My Plate or how to add different things into your chili, I'd be more than happy to answer them. So if you have a question, you can take yourself off mute. And yeah, that's how you make chili. No questions?
Jamie, are you there, Jamie?
I'm here.
Oh, awesome. What do you think? You have any questions? You think you're going to make the chili?
I think we maybe try it.
Awesome.
Have you ever made chili before?
No. And
Okay.
this is her daughter, by the way.
Oh, great. What's your name?
Haley.
Haley?
Hmm?
Do you have Miss S for FAN4Kids?
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you think you're gonna make a vegetarian chili, or you think you'd want to make chili with some animal protein in it?
Animal protein, I bet.
So what kind of animal protein do you think would be better for you? Do you think you should use ground meat, or do you think it'd be better to use turkey or chicken? Do you remember which one's better for you?
My aunt uses ground beef.
So ground beef is a perfectly good animal protein, but if you wanted to make your chili a little bit healthier, you could use ground turkey or ground chicken, because if you remember from our protein lesson, those are lean proteins. But you're more than welcome to use any type of protein you want. You could use ground beef, you could even use cubes of steak, you could use chicken, turkey, pretty much anything you want, sausage, anything to spice up your chili. You're more than welcome to use any of those things to give it more flavor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming.
How did you find out about the workshop? Who told you about it?
My mom did.
Cool. Did she get an email? Do you know how she found out about it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, that's all right. I'm glad you came. You should tell all your friends, tell all your classmates to come. We have another one on Thursday, which is a Zumba class. And then we'll have a couple more the following week as well.
Okay.
Okay, Jamie, thanks for watching. I hope you make your chili. And if you do make chili, you should send us pictures. You should send Susie, the parent coordinator, or Carly a picture of the chili you made. I want to see how great it looks.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Haley.
Welcome.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone else?
Someone's already starting to make it. There you go.
Okay, well, Jamie, there's also a little link at the bottom of, is it there to do the survey? Or was it not posted?
Oh, yes, I'm going to share the survey. So, Jamie, if you can fill this out now, that would be great.
Did it.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Jamie, I'm also doing a super fun demo about summer snacks on Wednesday afternoon if you want to come to that too. We're going to learn how to make some popsicles from scratch and some fun, healthy ice cream. If you're interested in doing that also.
I think I'll come.
Awesome. I'm excited to see you.
Miss S, the link is through Susie, right? The parent coordinator?
Yeah.
That-
So her parent should have gotten that because she sends it out.
And I think it was on the website, at PS14's website as well.
Okay, well, thank you all for joining me on how to make chili. I hope you use the recipe or spice it up a little bit. And if you have any other questions or if you're interested in learning how to make anything else, let us know.
Thank you. It was great. All right, Haley. Have a good rest of the day.
You too.
Thank you.